Let's face it can't be too hard to dress yourself when you're living in the White House. Just keep covered up, toss the jeans, and try not to insult an entire continent while you're at it. Easy, right? Well, not always. One of Melania Trump's most damaging scandals took place on June 21, 2018, when the First Lady wore a graphic coat while visiting the New Hope Children's Shelter in McAllen, Texas. Located on the Mexican-American border, Melania's visit to the shelter appeared to be a strategic decision, considering that her husband Donald Trump's administration had come under heavy fire for its treatment of Mexican migrants. Melania's centerpiece item that day was a mossy green army-style jacket that had the words, "I really don't care, do you?" emblazoned on the back. Opponents of the Trump administration were outraged by this fashion choice, claiming that it was incredibly insensitive to the plight of migrant children.
I literally thought it was a joke.
The New Yorker dubbed the jacket wholly inappropriate, saying that Melania did her part to freshen up the tragedy happening at the Mexican-American border. In response to the outrage that followed the publication of the images, Melania accused the media of being overly concerned with her clothing and claimed that there was no deeper message intended with her coat. However, Melania later admitted that the text on the coat did have an intended target.
It was for the people and for the left-wing media who are criticizing me, and I want to show them that I don't care.
In 2018, while touring the African nations of Ghana, Malawi, Kenya, and Egypt, Melania Trump hoped to promote child welfare, education, and wildlife conservation. But it was her questionable fashion choices that ended up making headlines. During a safari in Nairobi, the First Lady sported an outdoorsy look, including a white button-down shirt, khaki riding pants, and tall safari-ready boots. She also decided to wear a white pith helmet, which made her look as if she'd stepped right out of Africa. Outrage soon followed, with many social media users highlighting Melania's apparent ignorance of the history of pith helmets. Throughout the 1800s, this style of hat was worn by military officers and colonial explorers, and today, it is widely regarded as a symbol of racist, colonial violence across the continent. As one ex-user wrote, "That pith helmet you have carried was used by colonialists during the dark days. Doesn't sit well with us Africans. Who advised you?" Let's face it, Donald Trump isn't exactly a fashion-forward president, and so it's maybe no surprise that the press have found ample opportunities to ridicule his sense of style over the years. One of Trump's strangest fashion moments came in 2021 when he attended the North Carolina GOP convention. Although he appeared to be dressed in his standard navy suit and red tie, audience members and journalists soon noticed that the president's trousers seemed to be hugging him in all the wrong places. Before long, rumors began to swirl that Trump had accidentally gone on stage wearing his pants backwards.
It's like he's wearing a fanny pack on the inside of his pants. It looks like he bumped into something and his pants deployed an airbag.
The situation got so dire that NPR had to step in and declare via one headline that no, actually Trump was not wearing his pants backward at a weekend rally. Eventually, the rumors were squashed by zoomed-in video footage that revealed a visible front zipper, but not before half of America got in a few laughs at the president's expense. Tan Suitgate was one of the strangest scandals Barack Obama ever faced during his presidency. It all began when the then-president decided to wear a chai-colored morning suit to a news conference on August 28, 2014. Known for donning formal suits in black or navy, this lighter color marked a stark departure from Obama's usual fashion fare. Fashion bloggers and Republicans alike were quick to criticize the president's outfit. Fashion critic Vanessa Friedman wrote in the New York Times that the cream hue of Obama's suit was a wishy-washy color for a wishy-washy military policy. Likewise, Republican Peter T. King told CNN that Obama's fashion choice demonstrated the president's lack of seriousness about foreign policy.
And he looked like he was on his way to a party at the Hamptons.
A day later, then White House Secretary Josh Earnest gave the press administration's official response to the unfolding scandal.
It's the Thursday before Labor Day. He feels pretty good about it.
Barack Obama also paid the price for going casual in 2009. The newly inaugurated president got the crowd going wild when he attended that year's Major League Baseball All-Star game to throw the first pitch. For this occasion, Obama ditched the three-piece suits and walked onto the pitch wearing comfy sneakers, a black zip-up, and a pair of baggy blue jeans. While his stylists likely anticipated the crowd loving this more laid-back look, the public didn't seem to respond in turn. Meanwhile, many Republicans claimed that Obama's loose-fitting jeans put forward an image of a weak leader. Sarah Palin told Fox News, "People are looking at Putin as one who wrestles bears and drills for oil. They look at our president as one who wears mom jeans and equivocates and bloviates." In 2014, Obama opened up about the backlash to his game day outfit.
I think I've paid my penance for that. I got whacked pretty good.
Michelle Obama was never afraid to wear bold colors and a little sparkle, but she didn't waltz into the White House looking like this. Instead, it took some time for her to cultivate her sense of style as a first lady, and she had a few missteps along the way. Arguably her biggest misstep of all occurred in 2009. During a state meeting with Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, Michelle wore a knee-length black skirt and a black cardigan with a simple white undershirt and several strings of pearls. Soon after the event, Dominican fashion designer Oscar de la Renta spoke about his disappointment in Michelle, stating that he expected something a bit more glamorous from her. De la Renta told Women's Wear Daily, "You don't go to Buckingham Palace in a sweater." He also took umbrage with the fact that the cardigan had been designed by Azzedine Alaya, a Tunisian designer, adding, "Our industry right now is having a very difficult time. I think it would be great if the First Lady dressed in American styles." Athleisure has become quite a trend in recent years, but the 1990s weren't so forgiving of revealing workout clothing, especially when worn by Bill Clinton. The 42nd president was known to be an avid runner and often wore tennis shoes and athletic gear in public. Unfortunately, he also had a habit of wearing very short running shorts, far from the trim suits and perfectly starched button-ups you might expect from the Commander-in-Chief of the United States. Clinton frequently wore micro shorts to exercise, and he never seemed shy about doing so in full view of the press, often pairing these shorts with an oversized t-shirt. Clinton made the greatest fitness fashion faux pas of all in assembling a work outfit that made him look as if he was wearing no shorts at all. HuffPost said it best in 2011 when they revisited this moment in pop culture history, posting a photo from 1992 that showed Bill Clinton donning tiny black shorts alongside his literal running mate Al Gore. The publication labeled the image embarrassing, adding, "Sorry gents, but we're really glad those teensy shorts have hightailed it out of style." Hillary Clinton has faced many unflattering headlines in her lifetime.
I'm not concerned about the conspiracy theories. There are so many of them, I've lost track of them.
But in 1996, it was Hillary's sense of style that stirred a scandal for the then First Lady. While visiting Japan with her husband, Hillary caused confusion when she decided to repeatedly wear black outfits. At the time, a Japanese newspaper ran a headline that translated as, "Far from her fancy image." Why? Having declined the opportunity to bring a little American glamour to the Japan trip, Hillary's all-black outfits instead brought to mind funerals and court proceedings, something regarded by many as quite inappropriate on a visit intended to celebrate the friendly relations between two nations. Perhaps the lowest moment on the trip came when Hillary was photographed sitting next to Japan's Empress, Michiko, dressed in a tailored black suit dress. The First Lady looked like she had dressed for an entirely different occasion than the Empress, who wore a pale yellow column dress paired with a matching cardigan and beige pumps. First Lady Rosalind Carter was the picture of a proud wife when she stood with her husband and their 9-year-old daughter, Amy, at the inaugural ball in 1977. Jimmy Carter had just been sworn in as president, and the ball was their crowning moment. As such, all eyes were on the first couple, and on the surface, it seemed like Rosalind might have hit all the right notes when it came to her outfit. Rosalind wore a sleeveless coat in gold over a blue chiffon evening gown crafted by designer Mary Matisse. It was a clean, light-hearted look, but the rub came when the press realized that this was the third time she had worn the gown to an important political engagement. While contemporary media would have most likely praised the new First Lady for setting an example of sustainable fashion, the press of the 1970s ate her alive for what they saw as a serious fashion faux pas. According to the media, Rosalind had missed a chance to give other designers an audience or to represent all-American style on the global stage, and this moment wasn't soon forgotten either. Edith Mayo, curator of the First Ladies exhibit at the National Museum of American History, told the Washington Post in 1997 that Rosalind's inaugural gown set fashion back on its ear. Laura Bush raised a few eyebrows when she wore a popular gown at a White House event for the recipients of the 2006 Kennedy Center honors. With a crimson sequin skirt that grazed the floor and a matching bolero-style coat, Laura looked pristine and regal, a perfect combo for the kind of ceremony where cameras are placed at every corner. Designed by Oscar de la Renta, this ensemble came at a pretty penny too, with the dress clocking in at an eye-watering $8,500.
You can wear Oscar's clothes over and over, and I have.
So where did Mrs. Bush go wrong? In an embarrassing turn of events, the First Lady ended up greeting 3 other women during the White House receiving line who were all wearing the exact same dress. CBS reported on the faux pas, running the headline, "Laura Bush among 4 ladies in red." Laura later reflected on the cringy moment in her 2010 memoir, Spoken from the Heart, writing, "In the book, that red dress had looked perfect. It vaguely crossed my mind that someone else might see the dress and think exactly the same thing. But what were the odds of that woman wearing it to a White House party?" Not all controversial fashion moments are the result of embarrassing missteps or insulting outfit choices. No, some style scandals happened because women decided to reject the old-fashioned rules that kept them restrained and covered up. Take former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, for instance. The wife of President Franklin D. Roosevelt was the longest-serving First Lady of all time, having served alongside her husband for 12 years between 1933 and 1945. Eleanor wasn't a wilting flower who lived in her husband's shadow either. Far from it. Mrs. Roosevelt was known for her feminist opinions and for being an outspoken politician and activist, forever changing the way Americans perceived the role of First Lady. Some of this boldness can be found in photographs of Eleanor wearing a spaghetti-strap bathing suit. This was the first time a First Lady had been seen on camera donning a swimsuit, and in the conservative period of the 1930s and 1940s, it took some real bravery to bare so much skin and look so happy doing it. Even decades later, in the 1960s, First Lady Jackie Kennedy was harangued by some for being photographed in a bathing suit. Eleanor's decision to rock a look like this during such a modest time was more than just a fashion choice. It was a truly radical political statement.